Right, this is day 4 of the alcohol experiment, the 30-day companion to This Naked Mind. I was going to try and at least fix my hair up, throw in the shower, throw in some clean clothes, so you guys don't think that I'm grungy, but somebody's in the bathroom and I'm short on time. So this one is called Dealing with Discomfort. The beginning quote is by Sydney Banks. If the only thing that people learned was not to be afraid of their experience, that alone would change the world. So that makes me think of comfort zones. And I underline a few key points. The first 10 days of detoxing from alcohol were the most intense, but the symptoms went on for about 30 days. And what Annie is saying is that it's not just a physical addiction, there are emotional aspects to it as well. For instance, if the person, so when researchers studied heroin addicts, they found that the severity of withdrawal could depend on proximity and access to the substance. For instance, if the person went to jail and suddenly had zero access to their drug of choice, DOC as we call it in rehab, the withdrawal symptoms weren't as severe as one might expect. But when that person was released years later and they suddenly had access again, the withdrawal symptoms came back. Wow. That was eye-opening for me. And then I like this part too of when you're going through withdrawals. She says, instead of seeing the headaches and anxiety as punishment for an addiction that I should have been able to control, I chose to see them as signs that my amazing body was healing itself. What do they say in the weight room? No pain, no gain, right? And she's always keeping things positive and not framing things in the negative, trying to keep your subconscious choices open to you, minimizing resistance. And she says, that's why I'm calling these 30 days an experiment. You're simply testing the waters, see how you might feel if you weren't drinking. Your subconscious mind isn't necessarily going to like that, but it's better than laying down the law and saying, no more alcohol ever. And if you're like me, when people say that to me, it in the past made me go out and drink more. When I first started going to AA, I failed a couple times, and I said, "Screw this! I'm not gonna fail. I'm not even gonna get a white chip until I'm ready." And it became a challenge, not to stay sober, but a challenge to drink even more. And there is something she calls spontaneous sobriety. It happens all the time. She says it happened to me. When your conscious and subconscious minds are in harmony and desire the same thing, there's no cognitive dissonance. And when that happens, there's no struggle. You have no cravings and no desire to go back. So again, cognitive dissonance in this case is when you make a conscious decision that's in conflict with your subconscious impulses. Okay, that's all that I have underlined. The first journal prompt is discomfort so far. Even the worst feelings fade with time. Today, you can memorialize any discomfort you've experienced to help you become more mindful in the future. And write about this. So I wrote, the moment I turned over to God and prayed for removal of my desire to drink and to be court mandated into AA, I got rehab instead. That moment was in jail. And I was angry at me, I was angry at you, and I was angry at the whole world. I don't even know you, and I was mad at you. I was so angry. This is what I want to do. I want to have my innocent, long-suffering girlfriend, who surely would have picked me up from jail again, stop by the liquor store. And I was going to go in, because I knew this was wrong, but I wanted to go in, get a pint of Smirnoff, 3 shot glasses, and say, this one's for my aunt, this one's for my uncle, and this one's for you, baby. But I knew that was wrong. So that was the moment when I began praying for God to help me out with this. And I wrote that at one point in the past, this is a couple of years ago, the physical discomfort of drinking too much almost resulted in an ulcer or a hole in my stomach. Okay, journal entry number 2 for day 4. Temptation so far. What specifically has tempted me to drink? Proximity has been the main thing. When I know it's available, it is so much more tempting. So proximity, but I abstained and was rewarded with a huge boost in morale and resolve. Basically, I was proud of myself. Just watching my body, my mind observing that I could abstain helped a lot. But I went for so long watching myself fail that I at times didn't think I had it within me to abstain from alcohol. So now the closest I come to a craving or desire is only during meetings when other addicts reminisce, still trying to comprehend what that is about, or after work when I feel I've earned a beer. By the way, I didn't even have a single thought about alcohol today, and maybe it's because we didn't work as hard as we did yesterday. Yesterday was tough, but I never had a moment where I thought, man, I would deserve a glass of wine after this. But I know from experience that I prefer staying sober after physical exhaustion to trying to catch a buzz but falling asleep instead, which is what would happen to me if I tried to drink after work building the movie sets. And then some other daily reflections from alcoholexperiment.com. Hector says, didn't expect the physical symptoms to be so real. Glad I understand why I'm having them. Still better than being hungover. Need to be gentle on myself and others through this. Can't wait to sleep again. And I wrote, I didn't want to believe Lisa could be right when she suggested my nightly sweats were alcohol related. I no longer wake up drenched. So she was definitely right about that. Okay, thanks for tuning in. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share it with anybody that you think this may help, if they're in a place to be helped. And check out the description for a link to the Naked Mind website. And if you're feeling extra generous today, you can donate some Bitcoin to the grocery fund. Thanks.